Hey guys, it's Sam. Today's video is going to be about my plans for 2025, planners that I'm going to use for 2025. I can definitely guarantee that this is going to be a chatty video. So if chatty videos aren't for you, I'm sure that there's going to be something else out there for you that's short, quick, and not chatty. But for all of my chatty video lovers, welcome and get ready because I have a lot to say about all of these planners. And yeah, just grab a snack, grab a drink, get comfortable, and let's talk about planners together. So for 2025, I think I said about a month ago something about a planner. If I had one planner that I had to choose, this would be the planner. I think it was the Hobonichi Weeks that I've already been thinking ahead. I feel like every year I learn something about myself with the Hobonichi launch, and I get panicked and frantic feeling about the Hobonichi launch, and I definitely waffle back and forth between, is this the right one or is that the right one? And generally the one that I'm very first drawn to is the one I end up with. It's usually not the first one I purchase. So I'm going to start taking notes as the release information starts coming out, which should be in a couple of weeks, where we start getting like the previews and things. Yeah. And that, I believe, is the reason why I start thinking about planners for the following year at this time of year. And I wanted to start talking about this a couple of weeks ago, but I thought everybody would think I was crazy. But now that I've seen a few other planners talking about their plans for 2025, I feel like it's okay for me to start talking about it too. So I blame Hobonichi and their release on why I start thinking about planners so early in the year. But yeah, so I've already started planning. Like, just tell yourself to calm down, go with your first gut reaction. It's the one that you're going to end up with. So this year, I really, really love the cats. I'm a cat kind of person. I love cats. I adore cats. Cats. We have several cats at my house. I love cats. I'm definitely a cat person. And so immediately I was like, okay, the cats, got to go with cats. And then I saw the olive green, and that's so like my earthy palette, and I'd never tried the leather before, and I ended up not liking it. Yes, I know it's the same planner. It didn't lay as flat. It's not exactly the same size. It didn't fit into the covers as well. And little things like that for a person who's a particular kind of person like I am, it was just causing me undue thought and stress. So I ended up being gifted this Cats Weeks, and I am forever 100% happy that I ditched the beautiful olive leather, because this is exactly what I wanted when I first saw the lineup. So I'm definitely going to go with my gut this year. So when thinking of my lineup again, I'm going to be going with things that are tried and true. I do know that there's going to be lots of fun new stuff coming, and I'm not saying that I'm not going to try it. I'm just saying that these are the things that I'm going to make sure that I have in my lineup. And the first one is the Hobonichi Weeks. And the Hobonichi Weeks is going to be in my lineup because I've used it for so many years. It's so close to perfect, and it's the one that I just want to keep in my lineup because it so works for me. Even if I have my gripes, I love decorating this front every year. I love the special little calendars. You can keep track of so many different things. The monthly is not too small, not too big. The weeklies, these weeklies just work for my brain. I love them so much. And for someone like me who really sucks at trying to be a person who journals, I can fit just a little snippet of something in here in the weeks, and that works for me. And then in the back, I can make lists, and I can make this a journal. I wish that I didn't have the tendency to planner hop. I wish that I didn't kind of have gripes with the grid spacing and the paper. And I wish that I could just make this my end-all be-all planner for the year. But even when I get annoyed at it, even if I leave it for 2 months, this is the one that I come and backdate. This is the one that I come and fill in with my memories. And quite honestly, this is the only one that earns a permanent space on my shelf and I go back through and look at. Even in years where I was more consistent with journaling than not, I don't find myself going back and like picking up a Hobonichi A6 and reading through all of my entries. Sometimes I feel a little more artistic, and sometimes I like to still journal in a space like that, but I just don't find myself going back through and looking through it as much. So if I had to choose one, it would be the Weeks. I love this little book. This is, for this year especially, my most carried planner. And I've definitely started, I don't know, I went from really loving a cover like a Gilio, which I still love and use. I'm just feeling like I want a more lightweight, streamlined system. And so this is a cover from Sojourner. I think this leather is called Seed. If that's wrong, I'll let it here. I'll put it through here. The leather is natural. There's a couple of different pockets that you can choose from. They have a great story behind this particular one, and it has the red thread on it. So I did request a red cord to match that. And then the design is very simple. A couple card pockets here, a little slip pocket here, and then in the back also a couple card pockets, and then, you know, where your planner slips into. These are not big enough to, or tall enough to accommodate the clear cover. And because they're not tall enough, they'd also not be wide enough, because you do have to, you know, you do have to leave space for all of the clear cover. So you have to be okay with not using a clear cover on this. And they also don't come with pen loops. It's a very simple, beautiful design, but I have answered that problem with a really cheap adhesive pen loop, and I have just stuck it to one of a previous year's pencil boards. But I have answered that problem with the solution of a previous year pencil board with a really inexpensive adhesive pen loop. And so I'm mostly a digital paying person with Apple, the Apple Wallet. So this just has a couple of my cards, and I'm able to just pick this up and go. And I'm really loving this because I like to have a place to just brain dump and put a messy plan down. I also have combined that with a pen and gear notebook, and I can make daily lists in here. I can put brain dumps in here, and that works out really well. Of course, there's a million different notebooks out there, probably a trillion different notebooks out here, but I choose this one for several reasons. It's thinner and lighter than other brands. It has really nice paper. If you're a fountain pen person, I think you can use fountain pen in here too. I'm kind of off the fountain pen train for most things. I've only found myself using fountain pens lately to journal in the back of my Weeks. They're cheap and easy to find, and something that's important to me is that the spiral is really thin, because otherwise I just feel like it's getting in the way, like rings can get in the way, and I'm not all about that for my notebook. So this is the one I'm going to continue to choose. You don't have to pay shipping. You just run into Walmart, give a couple bucks, and there you go. Brain dumps. I like that much better than a larger spiral. This is definitely a planner that's not going to be on the list. I like the idea of this, but I don't know. I feel like there's not enough. I just feel like all of the information is just like there, and it's all kind of flowing together, and there's no good separation. So I like these. They're easy to find, but this is definitely a not going on my 2025 list. But yeah, if I was only allowed to choose one planner for the year, it would be the Hobonichi Weeks, because this is the one that I want for memory keeping. So thinking ahead at that, I know that I'm going to go with my first gut reaction to the cover choice. But I have a couple of things that kind of give me pause for the year. I know that it's coming. I know that the Hobonichi Weeks is now going to have the new Sans paper with the Tomoe River paper, which I don't love in the A6. And it's kept me from using the A6 that I purchased for this year for journaling. So I'm a little concerned about that. But I usually only do like lists or micro journaling. And so I'm hoping that that's going to be okay if I go forward. I think I've already made the decision that I'm going to stick with the regular and not the mega, because I journal so inconsistently, and I don't have like any major like trip planned for the year. That's usually the only time. If I'm super stressed out, I don't tend to write about negative feelings. I've talked about that more in other videos, but I don't know. I suck at journaling. These little micro journaling that I use here in the Hobonichi is enough for me most of the time. I'll talk about other times here in a minute. But yeah, definitely the Hobonichi weeks. It's going to be the regular weeks. I can't wait to start seeing the designs. I get so excited about that. But this is my most carried planner. It's so much in a small space. I don't have to worry about carrying a giant bag with it. And I love flipping through these pages. So this could be the only thing for the year, but that's not any fun, right? That's completely boring. So definitely also in my lineup is going to be rings. And here I have pocket rings from Moterm, and this is a new offering from Sojourner. She is now doing rings, and I'm so excited about that because it's leather that I love from a company that I love, and I use rings a lot. I don't love strings, so this is like putting two of my favorite worlds together, and I'm so excited about it. So rings, Pocket Plus, I can't do Pocket, it's too small, but Pocket Plus will work for me and Personal will work for me. Obviously, you are sacrificing some writing space in Pocket Rings or Pocket Plus, but you can fit it in more bags and it's a little bit more lightweight, and all the things are just so cute for it. You can have more writing space in Personal Rings. The con for that is that you need a larger purse, or you need to be okay with carrying a smaller purse and then having your planner in your hand. But yeah, this one is rings, like I said, from Sojourner, and this is Ember, I believe. The Ember is the name of the leather, and then the natural. And so it's a very simple, beautiful layout. I love, love, love it. I do have cards in here, so I'm gonna have to be careful. Cards back here, and again, no pen loop, but I do have another elastic pen loop in here, attached to another little plastic doodad in here. So rings, I will just always scream it from the rooftop. My chaotic, disorganized brain loves rings because I can take all of the crap out of my head and I can file it away wherever it needs to go. I will say that I have been thinking lately that I feel like I got kind of addicted to my sections. I do not have as much going on in my planner as most people. I don't have a lot of deco. I don't have a lot of extras, but I feel like I still have things in here that I'm not using as much. I still have not backfilled this, but I've used this obviously. But I do have things that are in here because I feel like I need more in my planner, not because I need it in my planner, but because is it even interesting to people if I don't have more things in my planner? And that's actually ridiculous. And I'm gonna stop that because my planner needs to have what I need and want to use for function and keeping my crap together. And that's the only thing that needs to be in my planner. I love things that are really simple, and I'm gonna go through and overhaul my rings for sure. I tend to use Personal more than Pocket, but I think that Pocket is oh so adorable, and I especially find myself tending to move to Pocket in the summertime. I guess because you just don't want to be weighed down. But yeah, so cons with rings are obviously the rings themselves. I answered that problem by either buying inserts that have a horizontal layout so that you work around the rings no matter which side of the paper that you're on, or I slit the paper so that I can easily pull the pieces in and out. I love rings because I can be as messy as I want. Nothing is completely permanent. I can organize my thoughts. I can take all of the chaos and make it look like it wasn't chaos. So yeah, rings are definitely going to be in my lineup. But I think just an even more boring, simplified version. And for me, that is going to be actually perfect. The last two things that I know for sure are going to be in my lineup for next year is some kind of Moleskine. So Moleskine, I love these books. I love this paper. I love the spacing. This particular one, this large daily soft cover, was supposed to be my weight loss like journal for the year, but then I actually fell in love with it and I started trying to use it as my daily planner. And I feel like I could have it could have worked. It could have worked. But you know how I get stressed about a bound book and that it's permanent and all of the things. And so I kind of just got into my head, and it ended up not being that. But I go back into this in and out. And I'm thankful for the memories that I have here. I'm actually going to start putting this at my bedside table, and I'm going to try again to make this a memory keeper. Yeah, I actually really like this size. It's not too heavy. I love the Moleskine planners. So I love that they have the closure. You don't have to buy a cover for them to be functional. You can just stick a pin loop in there and just be on your way. I also love the pocket Moleskine, and I did try to get a daily, the small one this year, and I was actually going to try to make it work as like my out and about planner, just, you know, for lists and where I need to be, and it was going to be my small planner hop thing to go into, but the daily. But they had some paper issues this year, and so I kept ordering them and getting the ones with crappy paper. So that didn't work. This is very much like the Hobonichi Weeks, but in a little bit smaller size. Of course, you could redate it and put Monday up here and go. I just don't want to put that much work into things. I just really don't. But I can fit most of the time everything that I need, and this is more like it can be a messy planner version of the Hobonichi Weeks because it's a similar layout. And I don't tend to have appointments on Saturday or Sunday. And although I do usually write something about going to church on Sunday, I don't have to write it down to know. It's just that's what I do on Sunday. So this could work for me, except for these horrific, tiny monthlies. And if I'm telling you right now, if Moleskine came out with this exact planner, no other changes except for the fact that they made it a month on 2 pages, that would be in my purse 24/7, 365. I love this paper. I love this planner. I love it so much, but the little tiny monthlies get me. And I'm not a very heavy monthly person, but I do use my monthlies, and it's so small. I use my monthlies, and I can't use these. It's too small. It stresses me out. So if Moleskine would please consider changing your monthly, I think it would make so many people so happy. So yeah, I'm gonna buy some sort of Moleskine. I might buy 2. If I can get a daily in the small and the large, I definitely will. I think that I'm gonna I'll probably end up getting the weekly too. The large is too big for me, and the small is just perfect except for the monthly. But I'm probably going to get a large and a small daily for sure, and maybe a weekly. And that seems like a lot, and the Hobonichi, that seems like a lot, but I probably will spend $10 or less on my rings for the next year. I have so many inserts that I've already purchased through the years. So many generous planner shops offer freebies, even dated ones. So I'm not going to be investing much money in the ring system. And then I feel like I have like my favorite Hobonichi covers, so I'm not going to worry about any of that this year. And I feel like I'm not going to invest in a cousin or an A6 unless my dreams come true and Hobonichi offers a cousin with no weeklies, because I have discovered for sure that I am not a vertical planner. I'm never trying that again. So I'm not going to do a cousin. I'm not going to do A6. I just am going to get a weeks and maybe, you know, some pencil boards and such when I order, but that will be like my main place where I'm going to invest, and then some Moleskines. And then I probably won't buy much at all for rings. But I feel like I have found the systems that I like the best, that I enjoy writing in the most, that I find the best planning experience in. I feel like I have my crap together, no matter which of these I'm using. And these are the ones I kind of just reach for year after year. And so I feel like kind of if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing. And even if I'm hopping, I know that I will love any of these. So if I had to choose one, it would be a Hobonichi Weeks. And yeah, Rings for sure, because I'm not going to invest any money, and Moleskine because I love these books so much. I definitely prefer the soft cover over the hard cover. I've learned my lesson there. But these, I mean, there's nothing like earth-shattering here at all. But these are just the books that make me happiest, that make me feel the most productive. I just feel like I found my fit. And I think with Rings, one of the things that is most important is finding the inserts that suit your needs the best. And especially if you're using something small like Pocket or Pocket Plus, allows you to have like the most writing space. Yeah, I think that this is set. I'm not saying that there's not going to be something out there that I'm not going to be like, oh, whoa, what is this? And I want to try it. But I think I'd rather stick to what works for me and what I know for 2025. And I'm excited. I feel like over the years, I've been able to kind of hone in a little bit more on why something doesn't work, and it helps me not purchase. The no spend at the beginning of the year that turned out to be kind of a fail, it did still teach me some things, and I now much more reflect on a purchase and imagine in my head how it won't work for me, maybe more than how I think it might work for me. And so it gives me pause, and so many times, more often than not, I have in the end not made the purchase, which is great. I feel like I'm learning things. Yeah, so as far as what is out and available right now, I'm pretty set on this as my planner system, my memory keeping, keeping my brain in check because stress, and then just another system that I really love and sometimes get bored of the other things and want to move into. So I am excited about the upcoming year, and to kind of feel like this early on, I know what I'm going to do and why. I feel like I have my crap together, and that feels really good. So yeah, I would love to hear from you. Do you know, is it a planner? Is it a planner or like a whole system? And again, I would love to see all of these books filled up and filled in for the whole year, but I can't keep that many balls in the air at the same time. And so I just go with knowing that I'll have fun in these other things, but there are a couple of things that I'm going to be consistent in, and that keeps my brain calm. So I'd love to chat with you in the comments below. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you're new around here and don't want to miss out on future videos, please consider subscribing. Thanks so much as always for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye guys.